Welcome back to Cold Front Convos. I'm Adam. I got Alex in the hoodie, Mitch in the red hoodie, and Goose in the orange hoodie. Apparently, we went cold weather gear for
winter, baby. Winter, baby.
Cold weather gear for the today. I got a t-shirt on because I have the mail jet now. So, get right into it. We had the Bills beat the Colts. It was 30-20. Really was 30-13 by the time, garbage time or whatnot. So, typical Bills slow start they scored 20 in the first half, but that first quarter and a half or so, they just did not click on all gears. My takeaway was essentially no Coleman, no Cooper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And it's looking that way going into Kansas City this weekend as well.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Then Kincaid got hurt too.
Right.
On top of that. So hurt his knee at the end.
Possible PCL. Yeah.
So I'm curious. Well, in regards to this game, real quick, I guess it was I thought potentially like Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, James Cook, both running and then catching balls out of the backfield type of game. And that's not really where it went. I figured that it would be like the check down type of game. Shakir had some short plays that he turned into long ones, but I was really surprised at kind of the way they attacked it while they were still going pretty slow in the first half.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really thought the whole game was just going to be a running game, both sides of the ball, both teams. And it just didn't seem, Jonathan Taylor really took off in that first half. I know our defense isn't built for like stopping the run as much, but when you knew that Jonathan Taylor was really the only offensive player that they were going to have, I didn't understand the game plan to not. He ran for almost it was over 100 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know what the game plan. Why you wouldn't try and prepare for that a little bit more.
Well, going in knowing that Pittman's not playing and Joe Flacco's playing, so I would 100% agree. Although just signing Jordan Phillips and Johnson there, so first game is in the system since last year, so they didn't get too much playing time either.
Yeah,
it's your bigger interior.
Well, yeah. John, what's his face? Taylor, excuse me. He ripped that huge run for 55, 56 yards, something like that. But if you take that run out of it, which you can, it happened, right? But you take that run out of it, they held him to like 2.1 a carry, which is crazy.
Well, and that seems to be the Buffalo's case. There's always that one run that breaks out to the outside for 50, 60, 70 yards. When it's a decent running back, when you're talking Henry, you're talking Achane, and now Taylor. So that seems to be, I think, our Achilles heel on the defensive side currently.
Yeah. Yeah, having Benford back was huge, even though the Colts are not, I don't think they're equipped to really go pass heavy, especially with Pittman out. But I feel like having Benford back made sure that no one really could step up. Douglas could shut down whoever is their real number two, I guess. And then same with Benford, where I feel like in the past guys would sneak out, it's always the team's third receiver that beats us. It seems it's never, it's not Hill and Waddle typically. It's whoever the third guy is from Miami gives us a hard time. So I was glad to see Benford back and healthy. I think he brings a lot to the defense and what they can then do. So,
yeah. I say thankfully for the defense. When we go out to start the game 3-and-out, and then first play of the game on defensive side of the ball, and pick six. So, you can't really complain too much on the defensive side last week.
3 turnovers, 3 forced turnovers, 3 picks, right?
And they're the reason why it wasn't a 14-10 game for the majority of the day. So,
yeah, they didn't pull away until late.
Yep.
And it really at that point though, it was a couple guys making some clutch catches on third down, Allen extended a couple plays, and they did normal Buffalo Bills stuff. I feel like they played better in the second half on offense, and they only scored 10 points than they did in the whole first half. Where technically, I guess the first touchdown doesn't count. So
I think a lot of clock management there in the second half. A lot of more Cook, 5-6 yards a carry.
Yeah,
Ty Johnson had some good runs. So I 100% agree with you there. It's definitely more efficient in the second half. So clock management, game management was nice to see.
Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway, Goose, from that game? Just whether it was offense or defense, or the way anything played out. What was your biggest takeaway from that one?
I mean, I think the biggest takeaway is that Josh Allen can play terrible and they can still win. I mean, granted, they were playing a Colts team that obviously is not very good, but Allen probably had outside of the Baltimore game, which I think he still technically had a decent game stat-wise. He didn't look very good in that game, but, this is probably his worst stat game in the fact that he didn't have any touchdowns, passing. And then he had 2 picks. One, which we obviously talked about in our text message chain stuff, like the one was the defender made a really good play. And the other one was just a bad throw. And that was probably that's the only pick that he's thrown this year that's been an actual bad throw. The other 3 have kind of the one really good, play by the defender in that game, and the cornerback. But then the other
was
2
a Waller.
The other 2 were just off, deflections off of receivers and stuff like that. So, but I think the positive that came out of it is that Josh can play bad and they can still win. He doesn't, they can be efficient, they can run the ball, and they can do these short passes and this and that, and they can still win the game. And so that's a positive going into, Kansas City this week. So.
Yeah, kudos to Brady on that. That's good play calling.
Mm-hmm.
My fear is if you kind of have that same stuff going in, those mistakes that you make against Kansas City, though, those Colts that's not going to scare you as to them taking advantage of those mistakes, but Kansas City definitely can. So, like, throwing those bad balls could be bad.
Well, I would say I'd make the argument now going into Kansas City that the way Mahomes has played, he's playing like Allen from a couple years ago without the spectacular play to make up for it, without the cape. His defense is what's keeping him in the game. He's got 8 picks or 9 picks on the season at this point, and he's getting bailed out. They're winning games like they just won this week against the Broncos, right? In a game that he threw a touchdown.
One to Kelsey.
Yeah. So I wish we had a full team to play them. I wish Cooper was healthy. I wish Coleman was healthy. Kincaid. We're looking at multiple weeks, I think, for all those guys.
From, McDermott's press conference, though, I feel that he's pushing Cooper to play this week. So
I think he has to. Yeah. I think it's got to be. Who else are you going to have playing?
Samuel back as your number one, Shakir and Samuel again. That's not going to be
That's not going to be. Yeah.
That's
not going to do you any good. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, so,
especially without Kincaid possibly not being there, as a slot kind of guy, and that, that personnel package that they'll be able to run with him in there, as opposed to Dawson Knox,
who had a great catch on a great throw.
Yeah, clutch catch.
A little bit vintage Dawson from 2 years ago. But speaking about the Colts, we mentioned Flacco with the 3 picks. The first one for the pick 6. I wasn't surprised that he played, given kind of the turmoil around Anthony Richardson over the last few weeks, both in the play and then the tap out aspect, all that stuff. I was surprised, though, once the game got out of hand, that they did not go to AR and that they have not announced him as the starter for this week.
They did earlier.
They did. They
actually
did. They announced it this week.
That's what happens when you drive for 8 hours today.
And for the rest of the season, he'll be the starter.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. I guess I'm not as surprised anymore. I feel it's like, give him the keys to the car. You're pretty much out of the running with this. Anyways,
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
well,
you
it makes
got full
sense.
coverage. Run,
Yeah,
crash it, whatever.
Yeah, it makes sense for him to be the full-time starter. You got to see what he has, and you got to continue to just let him learn by his mistakes. I mean, they're not going anywhere this year, and then you have to figure out if, the quarterback class in this upcoming draft isn't super deep as it was, but you got to know if you have him, and if you don't, you gotta pivot real quick. Actually, Carlo and Joe today, they were going through the which I guess we could probably do a little bit, is they were going through the 2-7 teams, like the teams with 2 wins, and see which one isn't going to screw it up to get them to get to that first pick or whatever. That's not going to win, multiple games or whatever. So
yeah, we can do that. That'd be cool. I mean, we always talk about the better teams. It's
Yeah,
it might be easier to talk about the worst ones. Who's gonna lose? So okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad they went to Richardson. I think it's the smart play.
Yeah.
So as we talk about other teams around the league, couple of upsets, couple of decent games this past week, except for the 425 slate, which all kind of stunk. Great game out of the Ravens and the Bengals.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
It was a smoke show. Every time you turned around, especially in the second half there, someone was making a huge play. Jamar Chase goes for 260 and 3 touchdowns.
yeah.
and they
I
lose.
got against Adam in fantasy this week, so that was nice touch.
Game was over essentially.
55. He scored 55 by himself. So
Yeah, I went against Henry, Lamar, and Derrick Henry. I'm sorry, Henry, Chase, and Lamar.
yeah,
Yeah.
So Mitchell had big something points before.
I had Andrews, Henry, and Chase. That's why.
And your Uncle John had Lamar, and he had 36 or something. So it was,
Yeah. So, but great game. And, I was very surprised said surprised twice, but in the post game, excuse me, Jamar Chase was throwing shade at Burrow for not seeing him on the 2-point conversion.
I did hear that. Yeah. Like, I'm always
That's
open.
crazy.
Yeah, you got 15 targets for 11 catches for 250 something yards and 3 TDs, and you're complaining? That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Speaking of that game, though, I think the Baltimore's defense is just, it just shows how bad they really are right now.
Their back end is horrible.
They can't stop anybody right now.
Yeah.
and then
I know
safety
Jamar
that
Chase
got
is a
hurt.
great receiver, but that's a lot of yardage to let somebody go on.
I think their secondary is ranked 29 right now.
That could really do some damage against them in the playoffs,
Yeah.
The best defensive performance they've had was against the Bills.
Of course.
And they look
Yeah.
like the defense that you're used to seeing in Baltimore like several years ago against them. The Bills can do anything. They look, we talked about it on this. They look terrible.
Yeah. Well, you said it earlier, it was arguably Allen's worst played game. Even though he had his worst statistical game against the Colts, I think his worst played game was against Baltimore. He made one bad throw against the Colts, and he missed Kincaid up the right sideline. Those were like his 2 worst throws of the day. But otherwise, I thought he played decently. He made that huge play to Hollins. We didn't mention it. I forgot about it. But
Yeah, that's true.
scramble right, and a nice deep ball.
Yeah.
Um,
Hollins had a decent game. He's fine I said his spot on the offense. I think when you have, luckily that was a good game for him to step up, and but I think he's a big time third down target for Josh, who's kind of find some trust in him. So it's good to see.
Yeah. So Bengals Ravens was a good one. It wasn't a great game, but Panthers Giants.
That was interesting.
The Giants, Daniel Jones will not be starting another game for the Giants. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah, it's just, you can't see him doing it.
He actually has an injury like bonus or something within his contract. So essentially if he gets injured for the year, they have to give him some kind of like bonus pay or something, like guaranteed, like a guarantee within his contract or something. So if he gets injured, he still gets like an extra guarantee amount or something. So
I
I
heard
can
that
actually
too.
see. So I don't think he's going to play just for the sake of that. Just because of that, I think they're just going to go to Drew Lock and just kind of see what happens because let's kind of rallied the team last year. So it's kind of like I don't know if we really want to win going forward. I don't know. It's tough because Joe Shane had his press conference the other day, and I actually kind of agree with what he's saying. They're really not, despite their record, like they've been in every game. And if they had a decent quarterback who can make the throws, they probably actually win at least half of those games. They're probably even or close to even because, I mean, we saw the game and Kurt Warner called Daniel Jones out during the game, just saying you have to see. I don't know what he's looking at. He got the sack on
He's seeing
the flea
ghosts.
flicker. He's seeing, he had both receivers running the routes. Neighbors and Wanda Robinson were both wide open on that flea flicker play, and he took a sack.
So who's going to be the starter now?
It's gonna be Drew Lock, I'm sure, is who they're gonna go to.
Is DeVito still there?
He's still there, but I don't think they're gonna go to DeVito just simply because he kind of, last year when he started, he ended up kind of rallying and doing the type of thing, like, and actually won some games and stuff. So I don't know if the goal is going to be the rest of the year to try to win games.
I'll never forget when I worked at the Crown and we housed the football team, and he'd show up in his Gucci backpack and Gucci shoes and rocket, and but hey, good for him. He made it to the NFL, and hey, he's playing ball.
Playing ball, I guess, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Tracy had a good game outside of the fumble, but everyone was kind of like he lost the game with a fumble. I was like, well, no, he didn't lose the game. Daniel Jones lost the game because he can't, get the ball in the end zone. That's what happened. And Bryce Young looked actually halfway decent. So, that was an issue. So,
do you think Joe Shane's going to be the GM making some decisions, or do you think he's going to be let go after this?
For mine, I really don't think he's going to get let go because he's actually made some decent draft picks that have hit. I mean, obviously Neighbors was.
You can't miss that.
You can't really miss that. But, Drew Phillips has played really, really well. They got him in the third round from Kentucky. Tracy's obviously hit. Even the draft class last year, Deontay Banks struggled this year, but I think it's a lot of switching the different philosophies from Wink Martindale, which was more blitz and play man-to-man, versus Bowen's kind of more zone aspects, which I think Banks is more of a man-to-man corner rather than a zone corner. So I think he's been struggling there in that scenario. I mean, even Tyler Nubin, another guy that's been doing really well at safety from Minnesota. They got him in the third round, I think. And then Theo Johnson's been playing big, a lot from Penn State, tight end. So, I mean, he's hit on a lot of draft picks and a lot of late round guys. So I don't actually see them getting rid of him. Mara's tried to say that he's going to try to be patient in the scenario. And I mean, we've all talked about what they should have done is when they first tagged Saquon, they shouldn't have done that. They should have just given Jones the 5th-year option, and then or tagged him and then just signed Saquon to 3 or 4 years.
Right. Yeah.
That's what they should have done. But I don't think that was a Joe Shane decision. I think that was from whether it's Mara or if it's Tish or one of the other ownership that was like, no, we're gonna sign Jones. And at the time, they didn't really have any other option.
Yeah.
There wasn't any really good free agents out there. And anyway,
I read an article, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, that the Giants should tank out and draft Shedeur and sign fire Dable and get Sanders in there.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I mean, Shador would be fine. I mean, I actually don't see Dion.
I think he said he didn't want to coach in the
Yeah,
NFL.
I heard that too.
I actually don't see him wanting to be an NFL head coach. He kind of, I think he likes the college coaching.
Yeah.
I think he enjoys like actually teaching,
The mentoringship of it. Yeah.
mentoring, and actually trying to, get the guys to the league and stuff. So I don't actually foresee him. I mean, the only job I can really see him going to would be like a Dallas Cowboys head coaching job.
That was
that's
the other
the one that I could. That was
Yeah.
the one I could see just simply because I could see Jerry Jones throwing a bunch of money at him and just.
Okay.
Well, Mike McCarthy's not going to go anywhere. He's doing real well.
Yeah, well, he's lame duck coach right now. He's got no contract. It ends at the end of the year, so
Yeah.
they didn't extend him. So I don't actually foresee them signing him up again. So
No, I don't think he'll be there next year. I don't think there's a reason. But
Yeah, why?
with Dak out for the year, they're done.
Yeah.
They were done anyways.
Well, and the problem for them too is they signed Dak to a long-term deal.
yeah,
I think that's where they're
it
getting
just
shoot
doesn't make any
themselves in the
sense
foot,
what
too.
they've done. I mean, Micah's going to want money at the end of this year too. I mean, you're going to have three
But
guys.
He's been hurt all
Three
year,
guys.
on and off.
Yeah, I mean but you're going to end up having to sign him. You got Dak that you signed at $55 million a year. And you got CD that's $34 million, $35 million a year, and then you're going to have to.
Which
you're
I
gonna have
think
to pay
he's the only
Micah
one worth
30
it.
You're going to have to pay Micah 30 plus million a year. So you're going to have three guys on your team that are making 120 million, which is essentially like 30% of your cap space. Where's the other talent coming from?
I mean, they're going to have to draft a quarterback this year, I think.
I mean, yeah, I just don't. They're going to have to. I don't know who's going to take Dak like on a trade basis. I mean, really,
Saints.
yeah. I don't.
But what
I
was the
don't-
deal they signed with
Yeah.
Carr? 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a 3-year deal. I could see the Saints doing it, but like you just said, they signed Carr.
Yeah.
I could see. I don't know what they'll do with Dak, but I could see them. I could see them signing a veteran somewhere at the end. Taking the last year of a contract off of somebody and doing it that way. I don't know if they're really ready to start a rookie.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're doing though. I mean, why are you starting Cooper Rush? Like, you know what you have Cooper Rush. Like you traded for Trey Lance with a 4th round pick last year.
Yeah.
Why
Unless
are
he's-
you
unless
not
he's
seeing
playing that bad in practice?
Why are you not just seeing what he can do in the game?
Right.
I just don't. I'm not understanding what they're doing. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you trying to get right now? You're not at this point. You're not going to the playoffs. You've actually got a fairly hard schedule coming through at the end of the season. You still got. Well, you just played the Eagles. But I think you've got the Commanders twice. You still got the Giants, which Giants are the Giants, but right now, Cowboys aren't much better. And they've got a couple other tough games. I actually think they got to play. They got another couple tough games, if I remember correctly. I don't have the schedule up right in front of me, but Bengals, the Bucs, Commanders twice, and they got the Texans this week. So,
Yeah, so you're talking about a real tough schedule.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I think the
they-
Commanders are
they got
coming
the
down to earth a little
Panthers.
bit, but
yeah,
and the
Yeah,
Panthers are.
I-
I mean,
yeah.
Hubbard has been running all over teams.
yeah, and I mean, what's Dallas Cowboys' weak spot? They can't stop the run,
They
and they
can't
can't
stop
run
the
the
run.
ball.
Historically, haven't been able to. It's
Yeah.
not even just this year. It's it's been the last few years they've struggled.
They just got up so big the last couple of years that nobody was able to run against them because
Yeah.
they were behind by 14 points by 5 minutes left in the first quarter. So
There's 2 teams in that division that are getting into the playoffs, in the Commanders and the Eagles, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
we'll see.
Well-
I'm still Commanders are good. Don't get me wrong, but they've got some tough sledding to go here the next couple of weeks, and I mean the NFC North's getting 3 teams in, so I don't know where they're getting in. So
I figure if we just said they're going to lose to Dallas, or excuse me, they're going to beat Dallas twice, the Commanders probably,
All right.
and then I mean they just played the Steelers to 1 point, which was a good game, but they had a chance at the end. They just didn't get there, obviously. But Steelers are a better team than I think. They're as good as their record indicates. Maybe a game different, but I mean, so the Steelers win by 1 against the Commanders. Jaden Daniels has a pretty decent game. I know I said, I think most of us said actually, we're going to go Steelers last week
I think
because
Daniels,
of Tomlin, and that's what made the difference.
And I think Daniels had a couple turnovers in that game, so. Or had at least
but even then, he's a rookie quarterback, and they lost by a point, Oh,
no, I give him credit. I think Washington's, I was very low on them in the beginning of the year. Even I was not bought into Daniels 4 or 5 games in, but I do like what I see out of Washington. It surprised me, to be honest.
Yeah. So, Commanders, obviously we just mentioned them. The Chiefs and the Broncos, we talked about it for a moment earlier, but you get Broncos have all the opportunity to win that game at the end, and literally the weakest link on the field goal team. And I'm sure you guys have seen the replay and
the breakdown and all
breakdown
that.
Of all, that. And they're like, this guy never picks his head up. He's got terrible technique.
He's on his heels.
Ran right through him to get the block. I saw a joke about I saw a joke about that earlier. It was a TikTok or something, but it was, hey, it was this team saying they had it was Jaden Daniels. It was like a moral victory, blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, but you lost to the Steelers. He's like, we didn't expect to win 5 games this year. Don't move the goalpost now. And then Patrick Mahomes pops in, and he's like, who wouldn't have helped by moving the goalposts? The Broncos, because they didn't even make it in the air. So there's that. I mean, the Chiefs, the friggin' Chiefs, they just win. They're the old Patriots.
I saw a video today by Adam Schefter and Pat McAfee, and I think it's more and more so across the NFL as well. And I hate to be that guy, but referees have really helped them out of some tight spots. And I mean, now that Pat's talking about it, Schefter's bringing it up, Dan Orlovsky's talked about it. I mean, it's everywhere, and we're going up against them this weekend, and the head referee is 5-0 for the Chiefs.
I saw that. I heard
Chiefs has never lost under him.
Chiefs never lose.
Well, 15 in a row. I mean, it is what it is. But when you find ways to win with yellow flags in the air, it's a little bit easier.
But I'd be interested to see how it goes this week, because at some point or another, their luck has to run out. I mean, they have all their games have been within one score games.
Yep.
At some point or another, just by odds, that shifts at some point or another. Like you can't. I mean, that was the Vikings that one year that the Giants went up there and beat them in the playoffs. They were barely winning games. It was kind of 1-score games for so many years, and that was the same thing. The Giants that whole year, they were winning barely by 1 score, and then the next year it didn't happen. Like things just don't go your way. So I'm interested. At some point or another, it's going to have to. I mean, Patrick Mahomes' stats are so much different than they were last year. He's got like 500 less like rushing yards this year than he did last year at this point or something. Like it's some crazy stat. And that's just, while he doesn't run a ton, it's escapability, stuff like that. I mean,
he's slippery.
Yeah, he's just not there at this point.
But he also asks the ref to point out when somebody's going to hit him. So.
Yeah, I heard that.
He was asking
how he was asking about his tackle, right?
Yeah, when somebody's going to come close to me.
I wonder about what? I was just going to say, Jawan Taylor. Like, do you think he's going to get flagged at this game? I mean, he's always going
offside or false start.
Yeah, false start every
all
single
the time.
game.
Yep,
and he was doing it all last year too, and they weren't flagging him for it.
Full step before the ball snapped.
Yeah,
Dawkins goes early a lot too.
Yeah, but he gets flagged for it every time.
It's Buffalo. In Buffalo.
He does have 10 penalties this year.
But I personally don't expect Buffalo to go in as much as my mind wants me to think that they're going to, and they have a chance. I don't expect them to win, especially if Cooper's not going to play, Coleman's not going to play. I think they'll put up a good fight, but I think we'll get to that point, I'm sure, later. But I don't think I don't expect them to win this game.
Gotcha. Speaking of turnovers, we got the Lions and Texans. That was a 26-23 game that the Lions won after Goff threw 5 picks.
Yeah.
And they still won.
It's incredible. They're so good.
I mean, that game, is that a testament to how good they are or how bad Houston was?
Well, I think Houston, they've done this. They did it against the Bills. I mean, they were up 20-3 at one point in that game.
Yeah.
And the Bills came all the way back and almost beat them. I mean, the play calling in the second half is just atrocious from the Houston Texans standpoint. I mean, it's just bad. I mean, they run the ball up the middle for a yard or two, and then they run the ball up the middle for another yard, and then 3rd and 7. Oh, hey, CJ Stroud,
throw it to no man's land.
Fix it. So it just, Houston's got a little ways to go. And so I think a lot of it's also on Houston. But the fact that Detroit was able to just, kudos to Jared Goff to be able to come back, throwing 5 picks. I mean, a lot of guys would just call it a day and be, okay, just not my day.
Yeah, he took himself out of the MVP race, though. I think he was, top 3 for that. I think he took with that game, kind of took him out of that conversation. But CJ Stroud coming off of, what his year is last year to what it is this year, for the first 3-4 games had all these weapons, or even more than that, 5 or 6 games had all these weapons, had this high-powered offense, and was throwing up duds. And now struggling even more because he doesn't have Diggs. He's got Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Just coming
should
off
be back
injury.
this week.
He'll be back this week. But even then, so all right, you get another receiver back, and that's kind of like
Schultz too.
He was the next, the next best thing. Like he was the next coming of the football Jesus. I don't know, but
I think that's a harder schedule this year. They've had a tough schedule this year. I think they were coming in. I think they had the 5th or 6th hardest schedule in the NFL, and last year they had a fairly easy schedule. Last year,
I don't disagree with that, but you got to put that into perspective when you're riding the horse so high and you're going into this year. Even the Bills had a harder schedule, and Josh is doing more with less.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's on that level as they put him on last year.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think he had a really good season last year. He made it to the Pro Bowl and everything, but I don't think he was as good as everybody thought. I think it was just I think it was a product of the schedule that he had, though. It made him look so good that then this year they just thought he's just going to keep riding that wave and just was not able to.
Well, what's crazy, too, is you go from Singletary to Mixon. That's a big upgrade, and your offense is still struggling. So,
and they have to use Mixon a lot more. I mean, I know they use him, but they need to use him a little bit more and, a little bit more creativity. I mean, Mixon is a really good back, but he's not the one that you're going to just run up the middle continuously.
Unless you're playing Buffalo in the playoffs, and then he'll run 140 yards in the first half down your throat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Right. Well, we talked about earlier today. We talked top teams and pretenders, contenders, etc. We're gonna switch it up a little bit and talk bottom of the pack. Essentially, are they going to be in the running for the number 1 draft pick, or are they the type of team that's going to do enough to lose themselves a top pick? So I have the standings up here. We'll just run down the list real quick. Are they someone who's going to, continually be at the bottom for the rest of this season? Or are they someone who's, turning around might be a strong term, because the best any of these teams can do with 8, there's how many games left? 8? Best any of these teams can do is 10 wins. So I guess they can get in the playoffs.
And some may have had a bye and some may haven't either. So maybe even less for them.
Right. So first one is the Cleveland Browns at 2-7. bottom of their division. They've only played 2 divisional games, which is kind of crazy at this point. But they are 1-1 in their division. So Cleveland.
I think they're going to screw it up. Chubb's coming back. I mean, the guy can carry a game, so I think he'll get back into a groove, and they'll find a little bit of an offense and win a few more games.
So, Mitch, this is their remaining schedule. They're playing the Saints this week. Fine. That they have the Steelers, the Broncos, the Steelers again, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Dolphins, and then the Ravens.
All right, so they'll get 2 more wins on the year. All right, so they'll have 2 more wins on the year. Miami, possibly late, and Saints this week.
So I think they have the second hardest remaining schedule, if I remember hearing.
Wow.
The team that has the number 1 hardest remaining schedule is actually the Chicago Bears.
I've never retracted a statement faster in my life. Who, speaking of the Bears, Caleb Williams has the worst QBR in 15 years for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Remember he said he wasn't going to
number 1, baby. He's got to get his nails painted.
Remember when he said that the punter wasn't going to be punting the ball anymore?
Yeah. He wanted ownership in his team because he's that good.
That's right.
Yeah, listen to their remaining. I know they're not two lost team or whatever. We're not really.
We got off track real quick.
So this is their remaining. So they got the Packers this week, the Vikings, the Lions, the Niners, the Vikings, the Lions, Seattle, and then at Green Bay to end the season.
Yeah, they're up. They're up the creek without a paddle.
Next one's Tennessee at 2-7 currently.
Yes, they are bad enough. They are bad enough. It's either them or Jacksonville. If you really think about it, they both play each other twice. They both play each other twice towards the end of this year. So, one of those 2 teams, I think, is bad enough to be able to get the number 1 pick. So.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, you almost want to go for it because yes, you got Trevor Lawrence,
but you need some weapons.
Now you just sit there and you just get trade bait for the number 1 overall pick. I mean, just to get traded out of there.
If that's the case, I would bench Lawrence for the rest of the year. I mean, he's already hurt.
Yeah.
Why risk it? Ride it out. And I mean, you're going to dump probably Gabe Davis probably after this year.
Yeah, he's 7 up bad
year. You're going to have to draft somebody or several somebodies. So why not start with the first overall?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Tennessee's so bad. Tennessee's so bad outside of their defense. Sorry,
and Ridley.
Yeah, I was just saying they named Mac Jones the starter this week.
Again, yeah,
that's the one alert I saw, which is makes a ton of sense. That's the alert I get to see. But that Lawrence was downgraded out for this week. So those teams are both 2-7 and then 2-8. Next one is the Vegas Raiders at 2-7 in that division.
They'll screw it up.
Yeah,
screw it up. Pearson's such a rah guy and just wants to finish the game. Like I don't actually see them getting being bad enough. They'll end up with like 4 or 5 wins.
Minshew's starting, so you never know what you're going to get out of him. He could throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, or 74 yards and 4 picks. So
yeah, I mean, and their remaining schedule is not terrible. They got the Dolphins this week, which really it's in Miami, but I mean you never know what Miami is going to show up, and then the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Bucks, Falcons, the Jags, the Saints, and then the Chargers. I mean,
yeah, they'll take another 4 wins out of there.
I mean, you got winning of the Saints probably potentially, and then maybe the Falcons, depending on which team shows up. I mean, that's Monday Night Football, so you never know what's going to happen there.
And if Falcons are in or out at that point,
so they're definitely going to screw it up.
Yeah.
New York Giants 2-8.
That's the New York Giants.
So I'm mixed on this one because I think there's potential that Dayball, there's obviously talks. I mean, Mara's kind of come out and given the vote of confidence, but he could be coaching for his job.
You can't be. I mean, the guy hasn't had a starting quarterback that's worth anything
I completely agree. I
No
think you
offensive
have to-
line.
Yeah, up until this year. I mean, their
Right.
offensive line has been really good this year, which is the part of it that's the most frustrating thing about this year is that their offensive line was actually good. Even with Andrew Thomas going out, I mean, they didn't look that bad this past week. You know, they had Evan Neal on the right side and that Illuminor on the left and left tackle spot, and they did fine. It just, I mean, obviously they're going against Panthers. Panthers
Right.
have no pass rush whatsoever, but it is just so. So, I mean, you go into it, and that's, I mean, if you watch Hard Knocks, like that's what they're talking about is we're going to build the offensive line and we're going to get him a weapon, and it's going to be the year for Daniel to basically
Put up or shut
sink
up.
or swim.
Yeah.
Sink or swim, and he's sinking hard because
That's hip as sank a long time ago,
I mean,
buddy.
they basically have an anchor tied to his, his
Yep.
ankles, and he's
Cement
going
shoes.
down. He's far down as a Titanic right now. But so I'm mixed on it in the sense because in one case you could make the argument that Dayball's coaching for his job and he's just like, I have to win games, but in the same sense, if he's actually going to stay,
You gotta
lose
invest.
so they can get
Yeah.
so they can get his quarterback. Who that is, I don't know. I'm just I don't really know what they're going to do.
Your GM, I don't like either. So I think it starts from upstairs, man. I think he's the first one to go. I mean, first of all, the owner's not too happy. Saquon's gone anyways, so we learned that from Hard Knocks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if he's gone, if GM's gone, then coach is gone as well. So
But the GM was there before Dable was, so it's not that they came in at the same time.
They came at the same time.
I
Shane
thought
got
I thought
hired.
it was a
and then
year
they hired-
before.
No,
Yeah.
Shane got hired, and then they hired Dayball the same offseason.
Yeah, that kind of sucks how that works. Just because Dable has no, that's. I'm sure Dable wanted Saquon, so
probably
it doesn't just one player, but like the GM has the ultimate decision. It's his team. Dable just coaches it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, coming off that riveting New York Giants commentary, they suck. Let's go right into our weekly pick'ems. If you noticed last week when we all just decided, I just threw the one big logo in the center, which makes it a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
So that may not get that on the first one. Thursday Night Football. Washington at Philadelphia. Philadelphia are 3.5-point favorites.
Philadelphia's hot right now. I'm gonna ride the Philadelphia train.
I'm on Philly as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna think same.
Given that it's in Philly, I'm going to say Philly.
Okay. I think it'd be a good game, but I got Philly in there.
Yeah.
So, next one. Ravens at Steelers. Baltimore are -3. I am rocking the Ravens.
Ooh, they're in Baltimore.
In Pittsburgh.
I'm taking
going-
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Steelers on this one.
I'm going to go Steelers as well.
Okay. Lone Wolf. That's what they call me. The Lone Wolf. Then we got the Jags at Lions. The Lions are 13.5-point favorites. I'm going to go
take
Detroit.
Jags all day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Should we all just
Lions.
Lions.
Yeah, that one might be the first large logo one. Rams at Patriots. Rams -5. I'm going to go with Matt Stafford.
Yeah,
Same.
Rams.
Same.
Even though
Patriots.
New England screwed me over last week with the win over the Bears. A
So
lot of money.
get Matt said Patriots. I think it was the Bears one last week where it was Bears Pats. And Matt was thinking, or Goose was, sorry, you were thinking, and Mitchell's like, what is there to think about?
It cost me a lot of money.
Yeah, it was.
I
It
went
was
4
one of
for
those
5
things.
on a parlay that would have got me $5,000.
Yeah, I remember sitting here and I was watching the score going on. I was like, this could be one of those games, and Drake May's playing, like blah blah blah, and then I was like, I'll just pick the Bears. And
Yeah,
It's just-
Caleb
I
Williams
should've-
lost him that game. So
well, Patriots D played well, so
You're right.
yeah, just the D.
The tip of the Browns at the Saints. Saints are 1-point favorites.
I'm going to stick to my earlier comment. I'm going to go with the Browns with Chubb back.
I'll take the Browns as well. It's more of a commentary on my lack of faith in the Saints than it is my faith in the Browns.
I'll go with the Saints.
Alex?
I'm going to go Browns.
Gotcha.
I just don't trust Derek Carr.
No, if he plays like he did the first 2 weeks of the season, then they're going to beat the Browns by 20. And if he doesn't,
Yeah.
then they're going to lose by 3.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he had 8 other games to prove that he was the same quarterback as it was every 2 weeks. So
true. Minus the Ohio assassin, Spencer Rattler.
right.
Those games.
That's true.
They got some terrible games this week. Oof.
Yeah, there's some bad ones in there. Next one's Colts at Jets.
Yeah. Oof.
And
Jets.
Richardson is in the starter, apparently. I'm going to go Colts on bounce back.
I'm going to say the same thing. The Jets just really look bad.
Jets are
They
favored
just-
by 4, by the way. Sorry.
Coming off a bye, right? The Jets.
No. They just
Who'd
lost
they play
last week.
Mhm.
The Cardinals. They got smoked.
They got smoked by the
I remember
Cardinals.
that.
31-6, I think, something like that.
In Jersey. I'm going to go with the Colts, too.
I'm going to stick with the Jets.
Okay. I can see it playing out, obviously. Both teams are wildly inconsistent, so.
Yep.
Vikings at Titans. Minnesota are 6-point favorites. I'll be going with the Minnesota Vikings.
Same.
Vikings.
Big logo. Next, that was an easy one. The Raiders at the Dolphins. Miami are 7-point favorites. I'm going to go to Tagovailoa and the Dolphins.
Fuck Tua.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Dolphins, yeah.
Not a visual I want, Mitch.
That's why I gave you the eyebrow and the wink.
Yeah, I'll go with the Dolphins, too.
Yeah. We kind of talked about that one earlier a little bit when we went over the schedules.
Yep.
Packers at Bears. Packers are 5-point favorites. I will be going with Green Bay in this one.
Same.
Yeah, Jordan Love's going to throw for 250 and 3 touchdowns.
Throw that in the parlay, I guess, huh? Green Bay.
Yeah. All right. We got Falcons at Denver. Denver are 2.5-point favorites.
Broncos.
I think Atlanta's due. As much as I think Denver is going to be due, Kirk Cousins is going to have a good game. I'm going to go Atlanta.
I'm going to go Atlanta as well.
I'm going to go Denver with Goose. I'm just, I tend to think some of these teams are going to, after the crushing loss, that they're going to bounce back. And just because that's always what used to happen to the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills would play somebody who was coming off some weird defeat, and then they would just rip our hearts out for 20 years. So,
Yeah. But they didn't have a winning record either, though.
No,
So.
and it's ingrained up here now. I can't
Oh, I
move
know.
away from it.
No matter what, no Bills game's ever over until the game's over.
Exactly.
40-12, it doesn't matter.
I put in the text. It was like 23-13, and I was like, until the Bills are up by 30, this game's not over.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
really care. Seahawks at Niners. Niners are 6.5-point favorites.
Niners.
Niners. CMC.
Niners.
I'll save this one for last. That one for last. So next is Bengals at Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Chargers are 1.5-point favorites, which I am surprised about.
It's a surprising number.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised given the fact that it's at home. They have it in LA. You get what, like 3 points for just being at home.
2.5
Okay,
for being
now,
at home. Yeah, so that means actually Cincinnati's the favorite.
In a neutral site by 1.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to go with the Bengals.
So am I.
Same.
As good as the Chargers have looked this year, and they're a really good football team, I just think the Bengals are playing too good of offense right now. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Got you. Monday Night Football is Texans at Cowboys. Texans are favored by 7.5.
You just throw the Texans sign
Texans
up
up
there.
there, yeah.
Texans. Did anybody see the? I don't know if this is true or not, but all the NFL players took an IQ test.
It's not true.
It's not true. Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that
I've
too.
seen
yeah.
it like 4 or 5 times in the past 2-3
Yeah.
days, and I'm like, this
Diggs
can't be
is-
real. How about Diggs? I'm 57 IQ. I mean, if it makes you think, like it's possible, so it could be true.
It's a low number.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware. So, anyways,
Jeez, and the podcast just got called.
hey, no bad language here.
All right,
So-
last one. Chiefs at Bills. Bills are 2-point favorites at home.
I'd hate to do it, but I gotta go Kansas City on this one. I just think we're gonna be down too many offensive players to actually get through it all. Just kind of what Mitch had said before.
I'm gonna take the L if it is what it is. I'll ride or die. I'm taking Buffalo. I said I don't expect them to win, but I'm taking them.
Goose?
You waiting for me? So, I think Josh is gonna have a really big game, and I think, I actually really think the Bills will win this game, and I actually think it'll be. I don't think it'll be close.
Ooh,
I love the confidence, Goose.
the three-headed monster in the backfield. Is that what's going to take it?
Yeah, I just,
Davis, Johnson, and Cook.
yeah, I actually don't think. I think the luck runs out this week for the Chiefs.
I hope you're right. I'm going to take Buffalo as well, and I'm going to take it on the back of Joshua Patrick Allen, who is going to throw 2 touchdowns but 1 pick, but he's going to have 2 rushing TDs. He'll have the cape out in full force, hopefully. He'll be in the end zone flexing on fools. But I think it's going to be like a 35, 31. Both teams are going to get their points.
I'm saying 31-24 Buffalo for the tiebreaker.
For the tiebreaker? Okay.
What's our records at after last week? We didn't get an update.
I'll have them in here. I don't have it with me on the road,
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately. And the reason I keep muting, besides the fact that I'm sick,
Is
I'm
the air
sweating,
conditioner. I can
the
hear
air
it.
conditioner
That's
keeps
That's
kicking on, even though I have it on off. It's on heat. Then it went to off, and it's 62.
Hey, I read hotels. I get it, man. I get
And
it.
it still does it.
Stupid
All right.
PTAC units.
So I'm going to hop in here real quick, and I'm going to go through some numbers, and I'm going to give you guys some numbers here. You guys want to guess who it is? It's between Josh, Lamar, and Mahomes. And these are career stats, and it does include this year as well. So I'm going to start off with completion percentages. 63.3, 66.7, and 65 even. Adam, why don't you go first and tell me whose you think is whose?
I think Mahomes is the middle one. I think Lamar is the high one, and Josh is the low one.
Okay. Goose?
I think Mahomes has. I think it's probably Mahomes, Lamar. No, Mahomes, Josh, Lamar, as far as completion percentage goes.
Alrighty. Last but not least.
I think it's Josh, then Lamar and Mahomes.
All right. So Josh is last in this category. Sitting at 63.3, Mahomie at 66.7, and Lamar at 65. I'm going to get a little interesting here.
So,
And we're
so
gonna
wait,
go-
so are you keeping track of who got what right or no?
Yep, I got it.
So I should have gone with my first.
So
my
you
first
should have went with your
instinct.
gut.
Yeah. Changed at the last second.
I'm going to go total TDs, 231, 184, and 149. Adam?
Mike going first. Josh has the most, then Mahomes, then Lamar.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say Lamar has the most total, and then I'm gonna probably go. Then I'll go Josh and then Mahomes.
I think it goes Josh, Lamar, then Mahomes.
All right. So Mahomes is at the top. 231 total touchdowns.
Just saying.
Josh is in second with 184.
I'm stupid because I forgot that he
Mahomes
said
had
career.
57 touchdowns in 1 year.
No, but
So-
I'm thinking career. He has a whole other year than Josh did, and Josh and Lamar. And then on top of it, Josh didn't
Yeah.
start his next year, either did Lamar.
Correct. So 2018 was Josh's first, and 2017 was Mahomes.
Oh,
And
that's right.
Lamar's was,
Yeah,
Lamar's
that's
was
true.
2018.
For some reason, I was thinking Lamar actually. I thought Lamar came in the league first, but that's right. It was actually
him and Allen were same draft class, and Mahomes was the year before.
Yep.
That's right.
That's
Yeah,
going
and
to
then,
change my
and then
answer.
Josh didn't start the
Yeah.
first year he played in the league. So
Exactly.
Until the end of the year, right? I mean, he
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
the last,
halfway
like,
through,
last
six,
couple.
6 or 7 games he was in, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, INTs. 72, 82, and 47.
I'm going to say career-wise. Because they always say it's Allen has the most since he's been in the league, but obviously Mahomes has a whole other year and a half to throw picks.
That's what made this interesting was career.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know who it was.
Right. I'm going to say Mahomes, Allen, Lamar.
Okay.
I'd say Josh has the most picks, and then Mahomes, and then Lamar has the least.
I think it goes Josh with the most. Then it goes then Lamar and Mahomes.
All right, Goose got it. So Josh was with 82, Mahomes at 72, and Lamar with 47.
Good job, Goose.
You're the best.
He's the best. All right. All right. This one should be, I guess, fairly easy. Then I got one more after this, and we're done. Total passing yards. 30,632, 24,984, 18,556.
Mahomes, Josh, Lamar.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Yeah.
And-
That's
Last one is going to be your QBR. All right. So 102.4, 101.0, 92.9. Sorry, 97.9.
Career. I'm going to say Mahomes, Lamar, Allen.
Yeah, so I was going to do.
Same.
Yeah. Same.
Correct. I'll just throw a quick stat. Who's got the most rushing touchdowns?
Josh.
57, 13, 38. Easy one. And then total touchdowns.
Josh.
244, 241, 180.
Isn't it Mahomes, Josh, Lamar?
Correct. Yep. So Allen and Mahomes are 2 touchdowns away
They keep
for
finishing.
the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most touchdowns before the age of 30
It's Josh.
is no, it's actually Mahomes has him by 2 right now.
Yeah.
Josh went without any touchdowns this week passing. Or we had 1. Mahomes threw 2, I think. But I think Manning and Brady were 1 and 2, and Mahomes is 3 and Josh is 4. So
But he's got the rest of the season to get it, right?
correct. Yep. But he's not gonna hit it. I think there were like 80 some touchdowns higher, but he could pass Mahomes.
Oh, he can do it. Yeah, I
by the
trust him.
rankings.
With those, he needs to
Put
get
the
those Jalen Hurts. I mean, he got the 1 yard one last week, so I can't even say nothing. He needs to stop getting rushing touchdowns called back. Is what he needs.
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
wasn't his fault. So what do you nothing you can do there.
58-30 in the Discord again. All right.
Hey, only 2 this week. We're rocking and rolling, baby. That's a far cry from 12 week 1. All right.
It was a lot last week. It was a lot. I had a piece of
Yeah.
paper. I was writing everything down.
Oh yeah, that is true. Last week was pretty.
Let's quickly get into the Buffalo Sabres, who were on a streak. They were streaking through the quad into the gymnasium. Beat the Sens 5-1. They beat the Rangers 6-1, who are a very good team.
Mhm.
They beat the Flames 3-2. And then most recently, though, they Sabres, and they lost to the Montreal Canadiens 7-5. The Canadiens are
Worst
The worst team in the league right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the Sabres do. They beat good teams and lose to the bad ones.
And they just signed a goalie today.
I saw that.
Was it Rayner?
I don't know.
Is that his
I know.
name?
I don't know.
Well, they put
I heard that they did.
Samuelson's out indefinitely. Thompson got hurt with a lower body injury during the game. And he's tied for the league in goals 2 days ago, anyways.
James Raymer that took him off waivers to fill Samuelson's spot.
Yeah. It puts the Sabres at 1/6 in the Atlantic Division, but tied for a playoff spot, the last playoff spot right now.
It doesn't take much to get to bump Boston too, I think.
No.
Which is
Boston's
surprising.
18
Boston-
points.
Boston does not look good this year.
No.
Well, the Sabres are at 15 points. They're 7-8-1. The one is an overtime loss. That's how they do in the NHL standings. But they're only 1 point behind Ottawa. They're tied with Tampa Bay and 3 points behind Boston. So they're still definitely in the mix. I mean, it's early. It's
We
yeah.
got
15
80
games.
more games to go. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
15 more games to go.
I'm just hoping Thompson gets healthy because he's a go or no go for them.
I do have to say, I have liked their play style of late. It's a lot more of attacking offense as opposed to what we've seen over the past few years. So I think Lindy's so far doing a decent job. I mean, they're not winning like they want, but I think they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, they look like a whole different team than they were the last few years with Donnie Meatballs. So,
Speaking of Donnie Meatballs, Tommy DeVito Meatballs, what's he doing over there? Come on, Goose, what's going on?
All right. So 102. Okay, so yeah, I mean, their play style is definitely different. They're both playing more physical and they're getting people in front of the net, which I think makes all the difference in the world for them.
Yep.
So,
They play a lot of rebound game. Reminds me of a little bit of Mighty Ducks. Pick up the trash, clean up the ice.
yeah.
So, all right. Well, more to come on the Sabres. Definitely NFL season right now. So, all right. That brings us to our final topic of the night, which is
For not being a hockey guy, I'm interested to hear Goose.
Yeah.
on the Miracle Network. Goose, what was your take on the movie, Goose?
I've seen it a bunch of times. I actually really like the movie. It's actually on right now. Because I didn't have anything else. There was nothing else
Because
on
he didn't
TV
watch
to watch.
it.
So
He didn't do his homework.
No, I didn't watch it. Actually,
Come
I
on, Goose.
actually started it, watching it last Friday night. I ended up falling asleep, and then I did it again Saturday and fell asleep, and then finished it finally on Sunday night. Like different parts. That's it. But again, I actually really like the movie. It's a classic, and it's a great story and all that sort of stuff. The team and beating the Russians and then winning the gold medal and stuff like that. It's a great movie. One of those that you watch before possibly when it didn't come out when we were in high school, I don't think, but that you would watch before a game just to get yourself pumped up or whatever, so I like it. I would say
Herb's
like
not one for
7.5.
speeches, so
Just a feeling. I'd say like 7.5. I mean, been to the ice arena in Lake Placid. It's such a cool venue to go to and just kind of walk around, and everything's still exactly the same as what it was then and stuff like that. So it's a cool venue to go to, and feeling that history as you walk in and stuff like that. So,
what did you say? 7.5?
Yeah, he said 7.5. Mitch, what about you? Go ahead. You hit it.
I mean, I love the movie. I've seen it a bunch of times as well. So I think Rizzo's probably my favorite guy in the movie. Have meatballs and all. I'd have to give it. I'm gonna go an 8.2, a little bit higher on my scale. I think it's a great movie. It's a classic. It's Russia, U.S. Feel good, wholesome, American patriotic movie kind of thing. So
definitely,
it's a good story.
So I'll go next because Alex picked this one. And my wife gave me a lot of grief over this. I am not a Miracle guy. I am not even a little bit.
You.
No, I mean, I love the story in the sense that
I mean,
you know,
I had goosebumps a few times
you
throughout the
me
movie.
Russia, like I 100% am behind the patriotic aspect of the sport itself. The movie, like I'm not a Rudy guy. I am not a Miracle on Ice guy or Miracle guy or Miracle on 34th Street for that matter. But right,
Miracle on Ice.
it was not my thing. So actually, my wife asked me, she was like, when you guys do movies this week, what are you rating Miracle? Because it's one of her favorites, or at least, she enjoys it. I was like, 5.
Ooh, wow.
And she was like, no.
You are un-American, sir.
She asked me,
For being a military member, you are un-American.
these colors don't run. No, I was like, I just don't, I don't know. You know the ending before you get there, obviously, given this, what it is.
Based on a true story.
Based on, right. I don't know. It's just not my thing. And I don't love Kurt Russell. And the only time I think of Kurt Russell is, you guys may not know this movie, Escape from New York, or Escape from LA.
Yeah. So it's bad acting. Such bad acting.
Snake Plissken.
Escape from LA.
Yeah, when's the last time you heard the name Snake Plissken? Or he was he's playing basketball in the LA Coliseum for his life. But anyways, 5-1 for me. People love it. I can appreciate that you guys enjoy it and it gets you psyched. It's just not my deal.
I guess my A2 will help average that out. Jesus.
Alex, you're up.
Yeah, whenever the movie's on, I always got to watch it. It's just it's a good movie, real good story to it. I love watching it all, but I gotta give it an 8. I mean, it's
you should have went 12.
I'm teaching history. It's got so much in there. I could show it in my class. It's a good movie to watch. Good.
What grade do you teach, Alex?
High school.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
High school history teacher. That's what I wanted to be.
Yeah,
and then
fun.
me too.
Went into cooking.
Then Mitchell went to food school and
there
you
go. And now I don't cook anymore. Yeah,
you make some mac and cheese every so often. Right?
That's true. That's true. Any hoots.
Caramelize some garlic. So, all right. Well, new rankings up there. I'm going to come up with a new way to do the movie rankings, because once we get past like 6, it's going to cover the whole screen. So who is next for this one? I think
that would be me. So I'm going to go something new here, just released yesterday.
Miracle 2.
We're going to go Moana number 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Deadpool Wolverine. I haven't seen it yet. It is now on Disney Plus. So that's your homework, boys.
All right.
I actually have to watch Deadpool because I've actually never seen Deadpool either, which is crazy because I'm actually a huge Marvel
you're well
person.
behind.
Yeah, you got a lot of watching to do.
I've never seen any of the Deadpool movies, and I'm actually a huge Marvel person, but I've just not seen those. It just, I don't know.
Don't let your kiddo watch with you.
Yeah, no, it's not a kid's movie.
No, not at all.
Not even.
Not Alex can't show that in his classroom.
Not even the entrance. Not even the beginning of the
Nobody.
movie. You can't even show the title screen, all right?
Oh man,
There's a lot of muting going on.
Yeah. As much as I
No subtitles. No subtitles.
All right. Well, Deadpool Wolverine, that's a good one. I saw it in theaters the weekend it came out. But I'm not upset to watch it again.
There's back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
It's all right. So, all right. Well, thank you for sticking around. We'll see you next time on Cold Front Convos.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.